Thank you everyone for coming. And today we're going to talk about how you can make your app to make more money and increase your revenue with proper ASO strategies. And we're going to talk in detail about how we increased B&Q year-on-year revenue by 30%. So my name is Igor. I'm the ASO director at Yodel Mobile. At Yodel, my background is in development. I started as a developer, but suddenly realized that ASO is actually more of my passion and what I like to do more. And over the years, we worked with a lot of different verticals and apps and different brands. So if you're going to go to the next slide, thank you. So overall, 15 years in operations, more than 1,000 mobile app businesses consulted. So we had to a lot of new businesses to launch, but also scale existing businesses. And we have over 30 industry awards won over the past 5 years. One of them is the ASO Team of the Year last year.
Awesome. And hello, everybody. I'm Harry. I'm from B&Q, which if you don't know who B&Q is, because you're not from the UK, that's fine. I forgive you. We're a home improvement DIY retail brand in the UK. There are 314 stores, physical bricks and mortar stores in the UK. We sell over 80,000 products across our website, which includes Marketplace. And we have over 27,000 employees, all working together with like a common vision of being a digital-first organization. Oh, just for context, we're one of Yodel Mobile's clients, if you were wondering.
So what we're going to talk about here today and try and debunk, it's that you can have an effective keyword strategy that will boost your revenue, not just installs on conversion rate, but you actually can have an ASO strategy that will have an impact on your revenue and monetization. So let's get into it. Sorry. So first of all, I have a question about ASO maturity. So where do you think your app is in terms of its level of ASO optimization? So are you at the basic level with irregular metadata updates, just changing the screenshots chaotically without any strategy behind it, and just have a very basic approach to ASO? Does anybody here feels that he belongs to this group? Okay, nice. So we're gonna have something for everybody in any group here. So even if you're advanced intermediate, you still will learn a lot. So in intermediate level, you have regular planned metadata updates. You know your strategic keyword that you want to focus on, and you're implementing A/B testing. So who feels that he's in this stage? Okay, nice. And advanced. So basically, you have your metadata updates planned with your product timeline, A/B testing, you're utilizing the new App Store features, in-app events, promotional in-app purchases, and you know what keywords driving the revenue and you're optimizing towards them. So who feels that he's in this stage? Nice, so only 2. Okay, cool, great. So I hope you will still find a lot of value from the things that we're gonna show to you today. So let's get into it. Harry.
Thank you very much. And thank you all for your honesty. We, at B&Q, we were very much on the very far left hand of the scale at the very immature understanding of ASO. And will hopefully convince you by the end of this presentation that we're completely on the opposite side. So let me take you back to, oh, by the way, I'm holding 2 things here and I am not very manually capable. So if I try to change the clicker with this hand, you need to let me know. So let me take you back to January 2021. There were 3 main challenges that B&Q as a business faced with our app. So number 1 was the product. We didn't have a vision for how we were going to drive our app forward. We didn't understand what customer pain points there were and what was the value proposition of the app. We didn't know. We didn't have any plans for it. We didn't know what we were doing with it. Secondly, we were massively under-resourced in terms of our developers. So it's a very small team, and as some of you may be developers, have been developers, know developers, they get very obsessed with tidying up bits of code rather than doing anything. Oh, I'm about to offend people, but rather than doing anything helpful. So we really need to refocus our development team. And then thirdly, we didn't really understand anything about our customers and what they were doing within our app. What they liked, why they chose app versus web, and so we didn't understand how we could improve our conversion or our AOV. But what we did have was some money, a little bit of money, to get some budget to work with an award-winning ASO agency and an award-winning ASO specialist genius over here. So, he's like, So despite some of these kind of organizational challenges that we faced, Yodel Mobile gave me and B&Q the confidence that their work and their industry expertise could drive our app strategy forward. And that is largely in thanks to this very compelling slide that I'm about to share with you, which I have rolled out in about 1,000 presentations. I keep stealing it. I'm like, oh, they're all here, but don't tell them. But this is their sort of trademarked infinity growth loop framework. The framework focuses on acquiring users and then maximizing their value. And importantly, many of the steps in this framework were within our gift as a business to put into practice ourselves. So, for example, the first step is about acquisition. So you need to tell your customer base and your users that you have an app to start with. Seems obvious. But you can use all of your paid and non-paid above-the-line channels to do that. Secondly, once you've kind of let them know that there's an app out there, you need to compel them to go and download it. Once they're in the App Store, you need to give them all the reasons why they need to go and download this app. Oh, I've skipped on to 3, 4, and 5. Sorry. I was trying to move here. Hang on. Right. Once you've got them to download the app and they're convinced, then obviously you need to take them through this onboarding and registration process. This is a great way to capture user data, as I'm sure you know, and to get them to sign up to things like marketing preferences or if you have a club. Fourth is about using marketing automation or other CRM channels that you might have, push notifications, for example, to retain those customers, remind them why they've downloaded the app, give them all those great reasons, with a view to hopefully collecting positive reviews that in both the app and the app stores. And then obviously every business kind of has this goal about monetization. For us, it's we need to sell a product, but for others, it might be subscriptions or in-app purchases. And then ultimately, once you've sold them a product and they're really happy with you and they've got this great app, it's all about social sharing and social proofing and that advocacy piece. And so when it comes to ASO, Yodel's view on this is that this framework is like a holistic approach where ASO can feed into all of these kind of parts of the journey. So looking at specifically B&Q and Yodel Mobile's ASO strategy, there were two main areas of focus for us. So one was about driving discoverability at scale to increase the number of our organic users. And secondly, it was about optimizing that strategy to drive revenue. So I'll start with the first. So this driving visibility at scale. So when we started our project at the start of 2021, the B&Q app sales only represented about 3% of total digital sales. It was teeny tiny. And as I mentioned, very under-resourced in terms of dev, in terms of a strategy, in terms of product ownership. And so we didn't really know how we were going to grow this ourselves, which is, again, why we turned to Yodel Mobile. But the B&Q brand in the UK is really well established. It's, as I said, it's the leading home improvement retailer. People know who we are. So the first thing we did, we started with an app audit to identify what areas we could improve in the App Store. the audit proved our hypothesis that most of our B&Q app users were linear users. They started off as bricks and mortar customers in store, and they were looking in the App Store for branded terms, obviously B&Q, to just continue on their purchase journey. It's another way to make a purchase. And 80% of our traffic at the time was branded traffic. And so our opportunity, of course, was to get after visibility of generic keyword terms. Oh yeah, I just covered everything I just said. Cool. So we knew we had to, the other thing we knew we had to do was disrupt this typical linear user journey. So the goal was to attract a new stream of customers who weren't necessarily that bricks and mortar store customer who were just finding another way to shop. And so what we wanted to do was leverage that brand visibility that we already had, and then combine that with generic keyword, there's a growing strength in generic keywords in order to start driving new non-linear customers into the purchase journey. So this is again a slide worth stealing. This is Yodel's keyword optimization strategy, which kind of ties in really nicely to the infinite growth loop framework. So it starts off with research. So Igor and his team, the lifestyle category that our app is in is highly competitive. So the team just they weren't able to just rely on ASO tools to do the research. They had to bring a holistic approach. They looked at SEO, user behavior, web search, social media platforms even, as well as AI to really kind of understand what the trending, high converting keywords that we could go after were. The second part of the strategy was around regularity of optimization. So we made sure that we had a fortnightly metadata update, which allowed us to increase the number of indexed keywords, all of which has had a positive effect on the discoverability of the app. And then thirdly is about the optimization and evaluation, so analysis, effectively. So we made sure that our revisions were constantly being monitored to make sure that we could react to any fluctuations in keyword ranking. And this process involved removing and adding keywords on on this fortnightly basis, all as part of this kind of ongoing keyword optimization strategy. Oh, I love animations on slides, don't you? Another thing that we did, obviously, we knew that our listings would take a hit in terms of conversion because we're driving all of this new traffic that didn't necessarily know B&Q. If you're driving lots of generic traffic, we thought that, conversion's going to take a bit of a hit then. So what we did, we worked with the Yodel mobile team on updating all of our assets within the App Store, including screenshots, icon, the description, etc. And that really helped us maintain a high conversion rate of our listings, even though the non-brand traffic had significantly increased. We've tried different positionings of the screen. We've shoveled things around. We've tested social. We've added social proof. Oh, this is where animations come in helpful. We've tested different features and functionality that we've called out, and then most recently we added social proofing to the introductory screen, all of which has helped drive our average order value. Actually, we've seen an 8% growth in AOV just by putting this little 4.7 star rating. And overall, all of these optimizations has led to a significant increase in visibility in both app stores. This is data from February 2021, which shows a massive increase in visibility score since we started this dedicated, focused work. We can also see this in our keyword distribution. So even though there's it's gradually getting bigger and bigger in terms of the amount of keywords that we're displaying, but also, importantly, it's how many we rank for in the top 3, 30, 100, and also how successfully we rank for the untargeted for the targeted unranked keywords. And then finally, the number of generic keywords that we've also managed to increase over time, which has meant that our kind of user acquisition has allowed us to accelerate how visible B&Q is to non-linear users for those generic searches. So onto the real brains of the operation now.
Thank you, Harry. So we will start with a quote by Benjamin Franklin that can describe what we try to do for B&Q, and investment in knowledge pays the best interest. So as we mentioned before, with different maturity level for ASO, when we reached the advanced level for B&Q, we're seeing that the algorithms reacting very well to our updates and the things that we are doing, and we were getting very good results, but we wanted to do something more, something better, to go to the next step. And our challenge was we didn't have any keywords data, so we are not using Apple search ads or any MMPs, so we don't really know what keywords are driving revenue. So fortunately, B&Q team has Google Analytics integrated to the app. So that gave us a little bit of e-commerce perspective, and we could go to the Google Analytics console and look at the products that drive in revenue. As Harry mentioned, they have a lot of products there, so it took a while to extract all of those products, but obviously, as we know, people will not go to the App Store and will stop searching for paint or lawn mowing, so it doesn't make sense every product to target just based on your metadata. So once we extracted the list of the products that are driving revenue, we started to look at the keyword potential that those products have. So for example, here you can see that we found a lot of garden-related products that are driving a lot of revenue for B&Q, and this was our decision to use garden keyword in the app title. Same for home. We've seen that a lot of products that include home in them also drove a lot of revenue. So we also decided to use home name as well as DIY tools. It's also something that we've seen driving a lot of revenue from the Google Analytics console. And once again, we extracted those and went to ASO tools, different ASO tools, to find which products actually have a keyword visibility and some volume and relevancy. So basically here you can see the GA console with the data. You can see the revenue, but there was the revenue data and how we implemented the data from GA in our metadata strategy. Also, seasonality is a huge thing. So as you probably know, the App Store is a very dynamic place and it's changing constantly. New apps are being introduced on a daily basis. So you need to be active, and you need to make sure that you're keeping your existing users entertained, but you're also keeping users who are searching for products on App Store engaged, and you want to get their attention. So we changed, as you can see, whoever knows the B&Q brand can see that it's a pretty strong and big change. And thanks for Harry for trusting us and giving us the opportunity to really test different approaches. So we really double down on the Black Friday deals. We have our top products that drive in revenue here, and here we also have them named in the captions. So as probably some of you know, the algorithm's using OCR, so they can scan keywords from the screenshots. So whatever you're using here, the algorithms can actually improve your indexing as well. So by using those Black Friday assets, we actually seen not just improvement in our conversion rate or that we got ranked for new Black Friday keywords like Black Friday shopping and just Black Friday in the UK, but we also seen post-install behavior like e-commerce conversion rate. So basically from install to a paying user going up drastically just from updating the creative assets to the Black Friday theme. So here, in a glimpse to how we are utilizing artificial intelligence from different tools that we are using from different providers. But on the left side, you can see, sorry, it's your right side, you can see the output from the artificial intelligence, and you can see that some of the keywords are highlighted. So basically, this gives us a glimpse on how the Play Store algorithms will interpret our metadata and what type of keywords they will highlight. As you can see, not all of the keywords are highlighted, but we can see that Black Friday keywords, shopping keyword, and a lot keywords that we actually wanted to target, we understood that the algorithm actually seeing them and reading them and highlighting them. So this is already like one of the tools that we're using to understand if the metadata gonna work as we expect it to work. Here also you can see the different categories. So basically you can input your text metadata into the artificial intelligence tools, and it will give you kind of the category for which your metadata suits for. So we can see that both of the categories here, home and interior decor, and department stores, both of them with a pretty high confidence score. So it's very relevant, and we can understand the description there is actually for the algorithms. Less than 2% of the users read the long description, so most of the users don't really read it. So you need to make sure, obviously, not to do keyword stuffing and just put keywords there, but you should think about the algorithm more than your users. You need to make sure that you convert on the first engagement, on the first impression, so the icon, the name, all of that will have much more impact on the users than the long description. So as Harry mentioned, most of the keywords and traffic were branded in the beginning, but here we can see the split, the new split between the App Store and Google, and the split between branded keywords, competitor keywords, and generic keywords in yellow. So the majority of the keywords right now on both platforms, the drive-in installs, are actually generic. And on the App Store, you can see that even the competitors are getting very close to the B&Q branded search terms. So we double down on this strategy or introducing competitors that we can rank in top positions for them, but also generic keywords that we know that have a revenue potential. And here we can see individual keyword breakdown with some examples. So keywords like garden DIY, gardening tool, garden shop, DIY gardening, this is exactly the keywords that we wanted to target based on the revenue. And as you can see, we are now ranked #1 for all of those keywords. And we know that they have revenue potential from the Google Analytics data. And we managed to get them ranked at the top positions in the first place. So we know that we also converting very good for them, but also we know that the users from those keywords are coming with high intent and becoming paying users. And also we can see that actually some new branded search terms were created, like B&Q tools and B&Q home garden. So things like that can happen when you rename your app, and Apple will start, when people will start typing B&Q, you will have a suggestion from Apple of the full brand name. And most of the users, they actually stop typing and they will click on the suggestion. And that's how it's gaining volume. And this is how you can actually create new branded search terms as well. And also we can see competitors like Screwfix, TradePoint, and others as well ranked at relatively high positions. So on average, our rank growth on Android consisted of 88 positions growth, and on iOS, 308 positions growth on average. So here we can see some of the results of the Black Friday creatives and metadata that we did. So here you can see the e-commerce conversion rate. And you can see it actually was dropping, and we were quite concerned with that, and we were thinking what we can do to continue and drive the conversion higher. So you can see this huge spike for paying users just on the day we changed the assets to the Black Friday theme. So it worked great for us. The revenue from Black Friday consisted around 5% from total revenue for the B&Q app. On average, the visibility score increased by 447% on Android. The average ranking in the Black Friday period consisted of 6 position improvement. On iOS, we had 2.78% improvement in visibility and 5 positions improvement on average on the iOS. So let's see what type of results we managed to get for B&Q with this strategy. So users year on year increased by 15.5%, transaction by 12%, but we can see that revenue actually increased by 35%. And you need to understand we just did the ASO strategy, and of course with a lot of help from Harry and his promotional ideas. So we made sure that if B&Q has a sale, we mention it in the promotional text or anywhere else in the visible metadata fields. And the revenue increased by 35% with the huge spike just from 15% improvement in users. So those 15% were very high intent users that were searching for a specific product and going to the App Store looking for this product, installing BenQ and making a purchase right away. Average order value increased by 19.5%. So the results speaks for themselves, and just by utilizing the holistic approach and making sure that you know what you're doing and decide on what you want to target and why, you can get much higher impact on your revenue and transactions.
Cool, thank you, Igor, and thank you for all of the work that you have done for us and with us.
Couldn't do it without you.
As a lover, no. Final three things that I wanted to leave you with specifically. The first is about the fact that you can isolate the impact of ASO. We don't have currently at B&Q a budget for paid user acquisition for the app. Everything that we've done, we've had to do about growing our users organically. And so pretty much the other thing we haven't done any app exclusive deals or anything. Everything has just been our normal trading calendar. So everything that we have done, we can pretty much attribute to the work that we've done in ASO. And as you could see, like Igor said, those results speak for themselves. A massive 45% increase in revenue year on year. The second piece of advice is don't be afraid to fail fast. We've tried some things and we've done, some screenshot implementations or icon, whatever it may be. We've done a lot of different stuff. Some of it's not worked, but a lot of it has. But the things that didn't work, we were like, well, that's okay. We can switch it. We can be super agile, and we can learn from our mistakes and go again. That's the beauty, I suppose, of the flexibility in the app stores. You can switch stuff up super quick. And then I think this last one is definitely for me. I didn't know anything about apps when I probably still don't, to be fair. But I didn't know anything about apps when I took this project on for B&Q. So I've decided to be a learn-it-all rather than a know-it-all. So I've just used this as an opportunity, and Yodel Mobile has been amazing to help me a lot on that journey for me to kind of increase my understanding and for us to get to where we are today. So on that note, we've got, I think, a bit of time for questions, which you can direct to Igor. I won't be answering questions.